Hello,
Hi.
Stefania and Jenny from Bokashi Belgium and Sweden.
Yeah,
And we are here for the long version of the story. right?
because I'm in Brussels and it's great. We're
Visiting.
catching up. 6 years we're celebrating of Bokashi in
Yes.
Belgium and 16 of Bokashi in Sweden.
So
And
it's
we've
a-
been doing this for a long time together, but we don't so often get to see each other. So this is fantastic.
And we were on the sofa chatting about it all, how it all started.
And drinking coffee.
And drinking coffee. And coffee, yeah, not beer yet, but it's too early. But we met basically through a person who was a monk at the time
Yeah.
in Myanmar. So, and he made us meet up, and that was we actually met physically in January 2018.
18, which is a long time ago. It's, yeah.
6 years.
Time's fast. We've been through COVID. We've been through so many things since then.
And so this afternoon we were remembering how it all started, and then we decided that it was a nice thing to share with you, because you are actually the legacy of what we started. You
That's
are
right.
all doing Bokashi at home, and that's actually we were thinking about why we started this
Yeah,
project,
yeah.
because at the beginning it wasn't planned as a business, but actually it had to in some ways, because we wanted to live out of it.
I think the only way to spread a good idea is you need some sort of business concept behind it, don't you, to make it happen. So, but the business never came first. I think the thing that we shared, and the reason why we do what we do, is because it's this really deeply idealistic belief that we can make the world a little bit better by doing something. And it's so easy to think, well, you can sort your rubbish at home and do these small things. And I think both of us, we wanted to be part of spreading something and creating something a little bit bigger.
And I think as well, because we both kind of were somewhere, it was the time we were being informed a bit by the media about all the climate issues and plastic, great garbage patches and things. And we both, without knowing each other, and you a bit before, several years before me, we had this, what today we call eco-anxiety. So we said, okay, the world is going, but what can we do as individuals?
And partly actually as a way to address this, what in Swedish we call klimatångest, this feeling of terror, absolute terror about the future. And you can either choose to be afraid or you can choose to do something. And I think we both separately and then together thought, okay, we need to do something.
We need to do something. So,
but the marvelous thing was we stumbled over this concept of Bokashi, and Steffi's a gardener and so am I, and we want our soil to be good because we want to grow our vegetables at home. It's really, we're not farmers, we're just simple people that want to grow vegetables and food. And Steffi, your background is in pharmacy, so you understand so much about the health aspect of eating well.
The idea, I'm Italian, so first I want food to be tasty, but then, and in parallel, there's as well the fact that healthy food keeps us healthy. But how does the food become healthy?
Exactly, and that was the missing link, right? So, and this was a big light bulb thing for me when I found out a little bit earlier that to get the food healthy, you need to have healthy soil. And how do you make healthy soil? You can't actually buy it, can you? You can't just you can't just order it online.
No. It's exactly for us. Healthy soils is a soil fed in a healthy way. So you need to keep the fertility of the soil by feeding it like we keep healthy by feeding ourselves well. And that's what Bokashi does basically with the help of the EMs, the effective microorganisms. And that's, so we came from two different approaches.
Yeah, actually, and came to the same result. But I think we have one really big thing in common, and over and above that it's nice to drink coffee and beer, and we talk a lot. It's also, I've forgotten what that thing is. No, it's because we have really bad memories.
We have a lot of things.
No, it's because we're both really curious.
Yes, totally.
And so we needed to get to the bottom of this and how does this work? Why does it work? And I think both of us felt that the more we found out about this with soil and what the soil needs, food and what food needs, and Bokashi and EM and what it does for the soil, it was the more you learn, the more you want to learn. And it was, for me, like a lot of pieces and puzzle were coming together.
Yes,
and I thought, this makes so much sense. Why does nobody know about it? And
then we decided, because we both have as well a background in marketing,
yeah,
we said, okay, now we know how important it is, this thing, and not only for feeding. I mean, there's a lot of indirect effects of having a living soil, which is better water absorption, less erosion.
Oh, now you're going into business mode.
Sorry. Okay, she's right. You already know all that. So basically, coming back, we said our skills are that we understand it. We found this super solution. We want to make it known to everybody. So Jenny started.
I found out about this in 2007, and my background, you can probably hear, I'm not Swedish, I'm from New Zealand, right? And I've lived in Sweden for 25 years, so I'm sort of Swedish too. But some of my friends were doing this in New Zealand, and I thought, well, you have to tell me about this. What is this? And they go, oh yeah, it's just Bokashi, everyone does it. And I go, I don't know about this, I have to find out. And so I was trolling the internet up and down 2007, trying to find out about this, what it is. And I kept trying to find out, okay, what's the problem? What's the catch? Like, this sounds too good to be true. I need to find out where the problems are. And you know what? I still haven't found that. It's not a trick. It's like the
There's
real
no
thing.
problem. It works.
No, it actually is.
It's just people don't know how magic it is. And that's why we started what we started. Everyone in her own respective country or language speaking environment, because Jenny basically was the first to publish online information in English and especially in Swedish.
Yeah.
For and that's how I then stumbled upon the things. And I was using Google Translate to translate the Swedish text. And then I said, and I was Googling in French or Italian, and there was zero.
Nothing, right? Absolutely
nothing. In 2016, there was nothing. So now you see the hands, I'm Italian. And today, luckily, we are 2024. Now there is way more information, even if Bokashi is not completely, it's not a common thing yet, still.
No, I think though in Sweden, with that extra 10 years has made a big difference, because most people that I talk to now, if I accidentally just, meet them in the street and mention what I'm doing, and so they say, oh yeah, Bokashi, we know about that. Our neighbours are doing it, we're doing it, my kids are doing it at school, we've heard about it. It's really big, it's got really big. And I just say nothing and go, yes.
So we were actually saying, it's a lot of effort through all these years we've put in answering questions. And so we kind of, this morning we're chatting about, actually our goal at the beginning was to make this technique known, so people would get out their food waste from the bin and do something with it. And I think that we can say that it's worked out.
I think really, if you look back to where we started, both where you started and we started in Sweden, I think things have changed enormously. I think to some extent we are succeeding, and this is something that we're all doing together, right? This is not Steffi and me, this is us.
All of you together, all of us together. So
and it's not just Belgium, it's all of us in Sweden, and I work a lot with Norway and with Denmark, and it's...
Plain.
Oh.
Wait, let's let it run and we will cut it after. But when we do plain... we got it.
A plane has stopped flying, and we're back to business.
So how it started, actually, because that's a nice story.
Yeah.
I had just quit my previous job in marketing. I was managing a word of mouth marketing agency in Paris. And after a burnout, I left everything and I went traveling in Asia. And I traveled to Myanmar specifically, where I got to meet two amazing persons that were Inda and Deepa. They were two monks, and we had long chats about life and about the environment and everything. And so then I left. We kept in touch with both of them. And that was me. I was there in January 2008.
2017.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I loved that country, so I wanted to go back, and I got back in November, something like this. In the meantime,
I have been traveling in Myanmar with my daughter, We had a month just traveling around. We had a fantastic time. It was really a fabulous country. And she said to me at the end of that, Mum, you know what? I think it's time for you to start something new. And I go, oh, she said, I think, you know so much about this Bokashi. You've been doing it already 10 years in Sweden. Your colleagues can run the business in Sweden. Why don't you come to Myanmar and start a company for Bokashi? And I'm eyes rolling like,
What?
you don't just like go to a country and start a company like that. But sure enough, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, but
Steffi and me together.
Yeah, she skipped an important bit of the thing.
All right.
I was there in January.
Yeah.
Her and her daughter were there in July-ish,
Yes.
summer thing. And they got to meet exactly.
Yes, sorry.
Two guys.
Yeah.
The both of them,
Completely randomly.
On a pagoda, on a monastery. I don't know where you were.
Yeah.
And so when I came back in November, and I said, "Oh, Inda, look, I'm back. Do you want to have a chat? It's my life has been going a bit further. How about we catch up?" And we were there chatting, sitting again in a very nice. The white pagoda, the one with the and then
Mandalay.
Exactly, Mandalay. And he tells me, by the way, I met another girl like you, crazy. She wants to save the world. She was here with her daughter. You absolutely have to talk to her because you're probably gonna get along very well. And he pulls out his smartphone, calls Jenny on Facebook, but the time difference and the whole thing. So it was a bit of an awkward, I think it lasted 45 seconds, our conversation, because you weren't expecting me at that time. And we didn't know what to say to each other because two total strangers.
And he's like saying, oh, you're both from Europe, you should talk to each other.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So we said, okay, let's connect later.
Yeah.
We added each other on Facebook and then we started chatting. And actually that chat took like 6 hours. I went back, it took 6 hours. We didn't stop. And I was a bit telling my story where I was in life. And you said, but me too, by the way, I did this and that and that. You were driving, I don't know where, up to Norway.
I was driving under tunnels and fjords in Norway. It was No, I had to wait in a lot of queues to go through tunnels.
Okay, cool. And so that's how we connected. And that was a kind of, November, December. And I was coming back from my trip somewhere mid-December, just in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then we arranged to meet each other in real life. So we got together. Jenny came, and I was living in Antwerp at the time. So she arrived like the 3rd of January. Yeah. And we spent 3 days just discussing and already making plans on how we would launch the Bokashi in Myanmar. At the beginning there was as well a plastic recycling project that then faded away. But that's how a bit it started.
But we did like a boot camp, and we just realized that, okay, that's, we had this background in marketing, and you realize, well, we have opportunities, we have threats, we have strengths, we have weaknesses, we have all this stuff. Actually, this is the most insane idea. It's absolutely ridiculous. No one would ever approve it. You know what? Let's do it.
Yeah, and we did it. That's the cool thing. So in parallel, I started Bokashi in Belgium because I was living there, but my heart was really left in Myanmar, and so we had these 2 projects, and Jenny was busy with Sweden as well.
Yeah.
So that's basically how it all started. And
we already had a full life, and then we just create this extra
just
project.
because we like an extra kick of
and I went home and explained this to my family and and my colleagues and everything. They go, oh
Myanmar, where is it again?
Oh, I see. And you're going to do this? I think so.
And that's how it all started. Yeah. And so the cool thing is that now we are 6 years further.
Yeah, and you've succeeded, Steffi.
I did.
You've done really well.
You too, and the Bokashi in Myanmar, because if you Google a bit, you will find it. Yeah. Our friends in Myanmar, in the meantime, Inda got married with AA, who's an amazing person. They even have a little baby, and they are doing a great job bringing to Myanmar the conscience about food waste is a resource. It's not waste, and in a difficult context, which is the one Myanmar is going through at the moment, it's really a proof of strength for me,
Yeah.
from their side of keeping on the north, they are keeping on doing, explaining people, everybody from monasteries to embassies, how to recycle food waste, how to grow food in the soil that is produced, the great soil that is produced with this technique. So
And I think the thing there that's been interesting is that we wanted to help people grow food because, you know, it's a country that has real food security issues, and they're right on the forefront of climate change. So everything that's going wrong in the world is going wrong there. On top of it, they now have a civil war and everything, but that's slightly another story. But the idea was to help people to grow food in the middle of a big city. You know, Yangon, it's like this, I mean, it's just a big crazy Asian city, and it's concrete everywhere and it's just chaos. And our idea was to grow tomatoes on every street corner. And you know, we all know Bokashi, you can do that stuff, right? But to help people understand and think about this, that you can take dry leaves, and instead of burning them, you can make soil, and you can take your pineapple peels and mango peels and everything peels, and you can make soil, and you can grow some food for your family. And for us, you know, certainly everyone I know in Sweden, growing food is a lovely thing to do, but it's a hobby.
It's a hobby.
Honestly, it's a luxury. It's a luxury hobby. But what we have in Myanmar is it's keeping people alive, and that is, I mean, that goes straight to my heart, and just saying it makes me feel a shiver. It really touches me, and it's been a beautiful project that we've done together.
I helped launching you. You did a lot of work, and what is amazing is still on and going, and it's a proof that it can work everywhere. Because we were this morning telling that often we get people saying, "I'm living in the city," and Jenny used to live really on the countryside, so with a nice lake and Sweden, the forest and everything. So up north, really cold. Me here in Brussels, so you heard probably the planes going on. There's the guy chopping his trees, or I don't know what he's chopping, but there's a machine going on. So
it's really urban.
It's urban, despite the fact that here we are in the green. But that's for the setup. So it's,
and where I lived was super non-urban. You know, I had 8 people in eight houses in my village.
Oh, yeah, okay.
400 meters to my next neighbor, and when I looked out my kitchen window, I could see the farmer's field, not mine, but the farmer's field, and I could see some horses, I could see a lot of forest, I could see a lake. If I look out the other window, I could see my own vegetables. So every time I was looking out the window, cutting some vegetables or cooking, I could see all these things together, and it's like you see the whole ecosystem outside your kitchen window.
Yeah. And by opposition, me in Antwerp, I was living in a completely concrete environment, so bricks and walls, very beautiful, but 0 inch of soil, or I mean, besides the few plants. So,
but artificial, really artificial.
Artificial, yeah. And so it's not exactly the kind of environment you think you will be able to compost your food waste. And it's the solution in both cases, because in my case, I was able to do that in pots. I transformed the balcony into a jungle, and it was everything, testing plants and herbal medicines and tomatoes and everything. So it works. It works because I often get the objection by people when I explain Bokashi. Those in the city, they say, but that's for those who have a garden, who have space to compost. And those who have the garden space to compost, they come to you and say, but I have so much waste, that's too small, I'm never gonna make it with it. So actually it works from Europe to Asia, from countryside to city center. Even you need at least to have a bit of space outside.
You know, in the same way that people are saying, yes, but this only works in if you have a big house, this only works if, you know, you have this or you have that. And we were saying, no, it'll work everywhere. People are also saying, yes, but it's too cold in Sweden, or it's too hot in Myanmar, or it's too this or it's too that. And I think what we've managed to achieve over these years is that we've done a super good established Bokashi really, really well in Sweden. It's an Arctic country. I mean, it's cold. The growing season is short. Bokashi works brilliantly. We've been doing it in Brussels, somewhere in
Works
between.
perfect,
It works
yeah.
brilliantly. I've, my friends working in New Zealand, which is a little bit warmer version of Belgium. And then we went to the tropics to see does Bokashi work in the tropics. It works super well in the tropics. So, we're doing everything from the Arctic Circle to the tropics. And I think this is the real strength of Bokashi. We're not going to talk shop and we're not going to talk details.
No, but
this is a huge strength.
Yeah. And I think we can talk soil and living soil because Bokashi has that magic skill to transform. We transform sand into fertile soil in Myanmar, because basically in Yangon they just have either sand or really hard clay compacted.
Yeah.
So
it's hard. It's really hard.
You can give structure to sandy soil.
You can make sand fertile.
Exactly. And
can I tell a funny story on that?
Yeah, wait.
Okay, when you
and then here in Belgium, we have super hard clay. So it rains a lot, so it's muddy. It's really clay. You can do pottery with it, but to grow food in summer, you cannot
hard.
even plant 1 inch your spade in the soil. So the cool thing is when you put Bokashi in that clay, it will loosen it up, it will get it lighter, and you end up, maybe you can even grow carrots. For those who know, carrots really need a
needs
soft
to be really loose.
soil and profound and fresh. So,
and this pure joy when you put your hands on the soil and you can lift it up.
yeah.
No, my silly story was that, so when I was preparing to go off to Myanmar to start this insane project of ours, people were saying, oh, aren't you scared? It's this and it's that and it's all these scary things with Myanmar. And I said, no, I'm just really scared if I'm going to be able to grow something in sand, because I didn't know if Bokashi was going to work in sand. So we spent the first few months, we got some land and we were experimenting, and I'm just thinking, please grow, please grow, please grow. Can we make soil out of sand? Can we make fertile soil out of sand? Well, the shortcut is yes. It works really, really well.
Exactly. Amazing.
And so we've found out that apartments, houses, farms, preschools, fine. Arctic, tropical, something in the middle, fine.
Works.
Sand, clay, everything in between, it all works fine. And it's really, really cool. But we had to find out this for ourselves, because it feels like now when you Google stuff, there's a lot of information on the internet, right? And you can look up a lot of things.
Yeah.
But when we started, there wasn't this information. Like people hadn't really experimented at all.
No, had to test and try.
And a lot of the work that we've been doing in the beginning, and especially my first 10 years in Sweden, I experimented with everything I could think of. I tried to make everything go wrong. I tried to cause all the problems. I tried to see, can I grow in a bucket? Can I grow in some bricks? Can I grow in some sand? Can I grow in leaves? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I? Everything I could think of. I'd be in the kitchen table in the middle of lunch and I go, oh my God, I need to test this. And the family are rolling their eyes and I'm outside testing something. But we found out how everything worked and how it didn't work. And I think between us we set up a structure, and this is what we wanted to do, I think, these first years, this pioneer time.
And that helped a lot to give the right advice to people who would start and wouldn't have the time to test, and they just want to dispose their food waste in a hygienic, efficient way, because that's at the end. So now what we both write in our leaflets that we add in the Bokashi bins or whatever text you find, it's the simplest and easiest brainless version on how to compost with Bokashi, basically, because we did all the mistakes for you. You don't have to do them.
You're really welcome.
Or if you do them again, you can ask us. Generally, we did it too. So it's an easy one. Like, I was impressed. You told me once you did a bucket full of sausages. You told me that.
Remember that.
Only meat. Yeah, remember that. That and another one, only oranges, and it works.
Yeah.
Okay, the sausages you need to put some more bran, but there's a way to do so. Even if it's not really balanced, it's sure that it's a bit different, the process, but it still works.
Oh, and I think I've had friends doing this for me, and they're experimenting a bucket full of crabs, a bucket full of fish heads, all these just trying to test the limits to find out where does this system break. Some things are not that great, but
Yeah, sometimes it goes wrong and it smells really bad. That's part of the game.
We have trained our families to be really tolerant and resistant to
Okay, just by the little story. My partner now, when he smells bokashi, he thinks of me. I don't know if it's a good thing. He likes it. So not everybody does, but it's something that really, besides the business part, it entered our lives. The bokashi and using the yams for many things, it really entered our lives, and it's making our lives better.
I think so, but there's other ways that make it better, and we talked about that a little bit this morning. The things that really warm your heart. We talked about the Myanmar project that of course warms our heart. Yeah. But we've been running businesses in various shapes and forms, but in this Bokashi business, every day you get letters from people or emails or something. I mean, some complaints and some problems always, but you get messages from people saying, "This is fantastic. This has changed my life. This has given me a goal. I am introducing Bokashi to my church group or to my preschool, my children's preschool, or I'm a teacher. I'm doing this with my kids. I'm this, I'm that. I'm working in an office. I'm running a small class. I'm making this into my project, and I think it's fantastic."
And that's actually what will make Bokashi live even after we are not busy with it anymore. It's that every one of you picked up the habit and is spreading the good word around in your environment, and that's the magic of it. It's the things that work well, and it's what we had in mind at the very beginning was we are not able to change the world just the two of us or even alone, but if we kind of transmit to you this enthusiasm or the feeling of doing something good, then you will do it, and the people around you will do it, and that's the ripple effect, and that's how we actually really change
the world.
So be the change you want to see in the world.
It's quite
it goes back
simple
to that.
in a way.
It's my mantra.
It's your logo.
And my logo.
It's good. It's really good.
And that's but it's working.
And I think there's another aspect of that too, and that was when I started, everyone was saying to me, and maybe to you too, that, why don't you let the government do that? Why don't you talk to politicians? And first of all, I don't know how to talk to politicians, and I don't live in Brussels, and it's not my thing. So I thought, no, I'd rather be a guerrilla and work from the bottom up. And every single person here has a kitchen, and it doesn't really matter where you are in society or geographically or anywhere in the world. Everyone has a kitchen. We all make food. We all have food waste. We all have a kitchen. So we're in that way. We're very alike. What if we make a guerrilla movement where we change the world from the bottom up? The politicians won't know
the bin up.
From the bin up.
Look, the marketeers here. I don't know if it works in French. Changer le monde de la poubelle en haut. No, because bottom up you don't say that. Du bas en haut. Okay. De la poubelle en haut. Give us your suggestions. There will be the comments open. We are super happy if you share with us your thoughts about this video we are doing, but as well any other positive or negative experience, but as well how you are making this thing known. How are you living with Bokashi every day? So
and how this message is spreading around you, because it's also very connecting. I think this is I think it's beautiful, really, when you see people connecting over something that's good and it's part of the change. It's very organic the way the message is spreading, and people help each other. And I think always we've had groups where customers have been helping each other, forums and that sort of thing. And it's also very, apart from being lovely, it's also really practical, because Steffi, you're running your business, I was running mine. I had colleagues in the end, but for many years I didn't have colleagues. You work 24/7. You can't do everything. And then when people can help each other and
really nice.
Coach each other and say, I had this problem, I solved it like this, or don't worry, it'll be okay, try this, but never mind, do this, it's all okay.
So now the good thing is there is much more resources all over internet, social media, YouTube channels. I have one, but Jenny, and there is a lot of people who are chipping in and giving their own share of experience to others. So it's there is information.
That's good. And we, what we wanted to share here was really just a little bit of our pleasure at spending some time together.
And
it's really, really a treat.
As well, I haven't been doing many videos, but the idea was as well to show our faces, explain a bit where it comes from, and in my case as well, I wanted to thank you all who are doing Bokashi, wherever you are, for doing it, because basically we are making the world change, and that's just for me the best present.
Yeah.
That was our objective.
It's just a lot of people like Steffi and like me and like
And
all
you.
our other colleagues
And
people like you in every
day.
different city and country, and we are it. This is Bokashi. It's not like any
and that's why we
multinational.
are celebrating 6 and 16 years, and we are celebrating you doing Bokashi too.
Yeah.
So we thank you, and we say goodbye.
Yeah.
Till the next time. Bye.
Bye.